Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Mike. I am the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. Thanks for joining us today for this masterclass entitled Sales Funnels and Automations for Accounting Advisory Services. Nice. All right, so one thing to say, I think, before we get started, and while I'm doing that, let me have you guys jump in the chat. I think you can hear me. I see people from all over, from France, Mexico City, Montreal, London, good gracious, all over. Omaha, Nebraska, Thunder Bay, Canada, UK, Essex, Germany, Atlanta, Georgia, DC, Montana. All right, good to see everyone. South Africa, Barcelona, North Carolina, Pakistan, Austin. Amazing. Well, this is our mission, guys. It's our mission to empower business owners worldwide. So you are making that possible. And hello from Macedonia. Nice. Okay, so before we start, I think I just want to say that I'm glad you're all here, even if you're an accountant or if you're not, because I think what you'll find as you pay attention to the workflows described here by Mr. Mark Stovel, that these can be used to really build any kind of workflow that you need for your business. And that is that's the way we build everything here at SuiteDash, so that we are able to adapt to any business. You can take the pieces and parts that are available in the platform and really build your own software that does exactly what you need it to do in a way that works for your business. So all that white labeled and automated, that's the goal and that's the mission from our side. And that's what we're trying to do for you guys. Okay, so what we'll be doing today is I'll be passing to Mr. Mark, and he will be taking over to present for you. I think you'll learn a lot. I've seen the presentation, the slides. It looks really interesting, taking advantage of some of the latest things that are released, and also forecasting and looking forward to something that will be released even in the next week or two. So we try to coordinate with Mark to have it ready in time for this. It doesn't matter that it's not ready because he's already built it into the presentation to show you how it can be used, and it will be ready very soon. So without further delay, I will pass and introduce Mr. Mark Stovel. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me.
Hey, no problems. Always good. This is the third or fourth time we've done this, and always very popular. So really happy to have you, and I will go ahead and pass to you and let you take it.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks again, Mike. Thanks to the SuiteDash team for having me again. And thanks for, everyone for being here. I appreciate you, for some of you giving up your lunch hour, and being here for the presentation. So we'll jump right into it. What will be in this webinar? We'll break down the content here a little bit. You'll get the background on me, who I am. We'll talk about advisory services. So this is specific to accountants and bookkeepers and CPAs, but it is also applicable for all service providers that want to get away from that kind of compliance-based work, more towards value delivery, value add for their clients. We're going to talk about the prospect's journey, so what they'll see as they move through your funnel. We'll talk about the administrative setup, so what we'll see on the back end in SuiteDash. We'll talk about the prospect pipeline. This is something that is very important for nurturing advisory clients. And then talk about nurturing campaigns, so using email campaigns and email drips. And then how to build the funnel as quickly as possible. So my background, I've been a CPA since 2013. I was with Ernst & Young for about 4.5 years, then moved over to be a controller for a manufacturing company for 3 years. Then I started and ended up selling my own CPA firm from 2017 to 2021. And SuiteDash was the tool that I used for my client portal, specifically around tax preparation. So now I run Firm Nexus, which helps firm owners in 3 specific ways. So build lead generation systems, build scalable advisory offers, and then automate the workflows and your team so you can deliver on those advisory offers. Oh, ahead of myself there. I've generated over 8,300 leads for my own firm, as well as other accounting and bookkeeping firms. And my team has spent about $50,000 in paid ads just for the accounting and bookkeeping in various niches. So before we jump into the mechanics of what we're going to look at, I want to talk about selling advisory versus compliance services. The sales cycle is much longer for advisory. There needs to be more consumer confidence to make the investment because advisory is a luxury and it is perceived as an investment. There needs to be a clear ROI with what we do in advisory. So we're moving away from providing ongoing needed services to offering solutions to specific problems. Now, I'm not going to get into crafting an offer, but there is a link to my scalable advisory offers workshop later on, and I'll show you how you can view that for free. But right now, we're talking about the mechanics of an advisory sales funnel. So advisory selling is a numbers game. This is a graphic that I created and I use in my content on LinkedIn and other places. And on the left there, this is how it feels sometimes. It's daunting. We want to find 5 new clients, but we don't understand the system. We don't understand how it works. And it feels impossible. But how it really works is that we connect with 500 people. We convert some of them to contacts. We then convert some of those to prospects. Then those prospects get on a call, we send proposals, and then half of those people accept proposals. And then that's how we find 5 clients. There's a multi-step process in there. And when we wrap our head around that, our expectations are calibrated. So keep in mind, not everyone is ready to buy. Marketers say that 3% of your market's ready to buy at any point. So we're not trying to convince every single prospect that comes into our funnel that we invite into our marketing ecosystem. But we're going to invest our time in one of 2 options. The first is convincing and adjusting for each prospect and their needs. And I did this a lot running my firm. I didn't have a lead generation system. So everyone that came in contact with me, I tried to make them my client. They wanted obscure things. They wanted, to pay late. They wanted discounts. I said yes to all of it because I didn't have any other way to generate leads outside of referrals and my network. So that's one way that you can spend your energy is retooling your offer, retooling how you fulfill on your services every single client. Or you can build a system to attract and filter ideal clients who fit into your fulfillment system. So there is a level of investment for both options, but the latter there provides significantly better returns and more profit for you. You can build a team around that. You can do so many more things if you focus on building that system to filter out clients that you don't want to work with. So keep in mind, if you don't remember anything else from this webinar, remember this. Those that are ready don't need to be convinced they need help. They only need to be convinced that they need your help. So you're not going to spend your time convincing clients that they need advisory. That's hard. You're going to convince them that they need your help. They're ready to buy. They need clarity around the value that you bring to them. So Naval Ravikant, I don't know if that's how his name is pronounced, but he's a famous entrepreneur from Silicon Valley. And he tweeted a couple years ago, code and media are permissionless leverage. They're the leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. And I would add, this is the leverage for profitable, scalable, sustainable firms using code and media to build your firm. So code is the automations and tech behind what we do, and media is the content or the niche information that we provide. And these are the leverage that you're going to use to build your firm. So you're going to use that tech to get in front of as many ideal prospects as possible. Now, keep in mind, an ideal prospect is someone that you can add as much value as possible to. And and then convince the prospects that your advisory offer is for them. To do that, you need a niche. I see a lot of firms out there going general with their marketing and their messages and their fulfillment, and their margins are low, and they work a lot more than the niche firms out there. Without a niche, you have an unclear value proposition, poor returns on marketing. When you market to everyone, you market to no one. You have difficult sales calls because you are constantly adjusting to their questions and their requests. You don't have a script or a journey that you can walk them down so they clearly see the value that you offer. You have an unscalable fulfillment process. And this is the kicker, you have endlessly untrained teams. And I had this in my firm. There were so many different things that I was doing that I decided that I was going to do most of it because I was smart enough and I was able enough to tweak things as required for clients. And that's really hard to translate over to your team. Having a niche allows you to clearly identify what you solve in terms of problems for your client and how to do that. And so you build systems around that. So keep in mind that the mechanics of everything that we're going to look at today is important, but it needs to be coupled with that media, with that good content. Getting the lead in the funnel is only half the battle. And SuiteDash is a good tool as it marries that practice management with a CRM that does email marketing, that does the things that we're going to look at shortly. A lot of practice management tools don't do email marketing at all. Some of the big names out there, I'm not going to name them, they say they're CRMs, but they don't do any email marketing. They are just, repositories for your client lists, and they can do automations around your tasks and projects, but they don't have that true email marketing component. So we're going to use automation to sort and qualify the leads, and then we're going to focus on only investing those manual tasks for those contacts that have demonstrated that they are moving through the funnel and they have intentions around learning about you and your services. And that's the key. We want to use the tech and automation to filter out who's just kicking tires and who's just going to, drain your time and resources, but not ultimately buy from you. So high level, here's the prospect's journey. So on the left-hand side, we have marketing. You can either do outbound or inbound. So if you're doing paid ads, I'm a big proponent of paid ads. You can also do inbound, where you're building your own audience. Either way, there's only really three ways that you can kind of collect people that you can churn into prospects, and that's buying, building, or borrowing audiences. And so whatever you are doing right now in your firm, you need to think about, how am I building an audience or buying an audience through paid ads or borrowing, maybe leveraging partnerships or whatever it may be. How am I building that audience that I can pull from to generate leads and prospects? Because then when we have that audience, we can push them into the next part, the funnel, where we are delivering content, a lead magnet. We're putting them on our lists. We're delivering niched, very specific content to them, and then ultimately pushing them into a discovery call and then to onboarding. But right now, for this video, this webinar, we're going to focus on that central part, the mechanics of doing that filtering and doing that nurturing for our prospects. So kind of high level again, this is how the paid ads funnel is going to work. So they're going to see an ad on Facebook, on Instagram, Meta, whatever it may be. And this is an actual ad that I ran. And then they're going to land on your landing page, your opt-in page. They're going to provide their information, and then they're going to end up in your CRM in SuiteDash. And this is, exactly how you want to set it up. Your volume is going to be high, but keep in mind that not everyone's going to buy. So in the sequence, we're going to look at the first page, which is the landing opt-in page, the thank you page, the follow-up page, and then the calendar page. And they each have a specific purpose in this funnel process. So for this example, I'm going to talk about general contractors and home builders. And this is the lead magnet that has been created. So it's 5 reasons why most general contractors and home builders are paying themselves less than last year. So this is a very specific problem that I'm addressing. Yes, they probably have crummy bookkeeping. Yes, they probably have crummy project costing. They're not doing any budget to actual reviews for management, meetings or reports. But what we want to focus on is the problem at hand that they're paying themselves less than last year. And so that is something that piques their interest. And we're going to focus on that kind of problem throughout the various steps of the funnel. So the opt-in page here, this is where your prospect lands. Keep it simple and straightforward. You don't want to introduce too many options to them. If you're doing a paid ad, this is probably their first introduction to you. So don't put them on our values page or our service page on your website because there is no clear call to action. So keep the landing page simple, and they're just there to download the lead magnet. That's it. All you want is their contact information. I know you probably want to show all the value that you can deliver, but keep in mind that you interrupted or you injected yourself into their social media scroll. So keep it light, keep the barriers to downloading your valuable lead magnet low, and then they'll opt in to your funnel. So here's just a quick snapshot. I've optimized for mobile. With all your landing pages, I do recommend you optimize for mobile. So on the desktop, there's a lot of white space, which is fine, but optimize for mobile, it's nice and clean. There's no header, no menu at the top. And the reason that they're there is to download the 5 reasons why they're not paying themselves, why they're paying themselves less than last year. And then a quick little add-on, fix your project profitability right away. So I'm just going to jump over to what this looks like within an actual browser here. So this is, your client landing on a page, and they're just going to provide the information in this landing page. So I'm just going to put something in here. Oh, here we go. Perfect. And then we'll hit get guide now. And then the automation will push them to the next page, which is the thank you page. We'll just jump back to the deck here for a second. So moving past that opt-in page, we're now on the thank you page. So similarly, this is a simple page, and this is where you're going to invite them to take action. So you're going to introduce a pattern interruption. Most of us are used to kind of a bland thank you page where it's just like thank you, and you kind of disregard it, but you want to break that pattern. So it's not going to be a regular thank you page. You're going to prompt them to take action, and you want them to book a call. And another thing to keep in mind is that you want to, if you're using paid ads through Meta, you want to install the Meta Pixel into this page. So Meta knows that this client who moved past that first step gave you their information. They're the type of prospect that you want Meta to go after and put your ad in front of. So that's why it's important to kind of build and refine a Meta Pixel to make sure that Meta, Facebook knows what type of prospect, what type of people you want to put your ad in front of. So I'm just going to jump back to the page here for a second. You can see up in the corner, we have the Meta Pixel Helper, which is a Chrome plugin, which shows, within this page, we have a lead event. And so Facebook is registering that this is a lead and that it's a page view. So again, going back to that Meta Pixel idea that we want to continually refine who we want Meta to go after in our paid advertising. So here's the landing page. Again, it's simple, but this pattern interrupt, we have this big dark bar. At the top, it says step 2. If you noticed in the landing page opt-in, it said step 1. So it is just kind of a subtle prompt to let them know that they're not done yet and that they need to kind of move forward. And so you kind of talk about a little more about the problems that they're dealing with, specifically around not paying themselves as much as they did last year, and a quick few bullet points. And then we have embedded here an appointment block with a kickoff form. So that's, using the terminology from SuiteDash, we've built this landing page and we've embedded this kickoff form. And I'll get into kind of the design and the build of these pages in just a second. So what we do here is we're going to add the same information. This person is going to be able to book a spot on your calendar. And then I've created an appointment type that again is tied into the theme of the lead magnet. So pay yourself more this year. So again, we're kind of continuing to harp on that problem that they're dealing with. I see a lot of funnels out there where they get them to opt in, but then they kind of change the tune of like, okay, book a strategy call or book a discovery call. And you kind of lose that momentum around why that person's actually opting into your funnel. So I haven't set the availability, so I have lots of appointment space. So I'm just going to pick Friday and then we'll hit submit. And then the automation will move to what I call the follow-up page. So this is important. And I'll just jump back to the deck here for a second. So again, advisory has a longer sales cycle. So you want to introduce yourself to the prospect either via a video or other content. So in that video, you're going to discuss who you help and the specific value that you bring to your clients. Keep in mind that if someone off of Facebook clicked your link, felt like they could book a call with you, they still don't know who you are. And so the chances of them showing up on the call are quite low. And from our data, and we've seen lots of people opt into funnels, a lot of people opt in between the hours of 11 and p.m. and 2 a.m., depending on a time zone across the US and Canada. And so people are doing this when they're laying in bed. They're like, oh, this is cool. They'll opt in, and then they totally forget why they booked the call, and they'll delete it or they just won't show up. So by introducing them to you through a video, through additional valuable content, you're reinforcing why they booked that call and the value that you can bring. Keep in mind, we're not convincing them that they need advisory services. That's an uphill battle, but you're convincing them that you're the right person or firm for them. So this page is super simple as well. I'm just going to jump back to the browser here. And you'll see that it's just a simple embedded video. So this is a Vimeo video, and they can watch it immediately after booking that appointment. And I write important, so it'll keep their attention when they move to that third page. And again, this is designed to introduce you to them and kind of start that journey, that building of trust for you in the eyes of the prospect and the client. So we'll jump back to the deck here. So in this, we've built email drips. So when they opt into that first landing page, which is a kickoff form, they're going to be put into a drip sequence. And that first email is the lead magnet delivery. So you're going to deliver the lead magnet and then invite them to book a call. Keep in mind that you want to take advantage of, their actions. So I see sometimes people don't move fast enough when a client or prospect shows interest in a lead magnet or learning more about you. That is the best time to put as many calls to action in front of them. Yes, I know sometimes it's annoying when we opt into a funnel and then we get 3 or 4 emails in sequence, but that's how you take a semi-warm lead and get them onto a call with you. So that's the first email, is that lead magnet delivery. The second is a follow-up. So you just ask, did you receive the lead magnet? And and they can respond to you, whether or not you can literally ask them in that second email, did you receive it? Can I send you the link again if you didn't get it? And then that final email drip is give them more value, give them more information so they can learn more about you and invite them to book a call with you. So the calendar page, this is where you direct them to book a call in the email drip sequence. So if they have gone through your funnel, the first couple pages, or that download the lead magnet, but they didn't book a call, you want to be able to put a link in every subsequent email so they can book a call with you. So there is a standalone calendar page that is included in this process. Again, keep it simple. Don't distract them with other information. And then here is the page. So I'll just jump back to the browser. And I'm just going to change this. And a simple page for them to book a call at any point in that funnel sequence. Just jump back to the deck here. So if after those 3 email drips, they haven't taken action, then you're going to go into the long-term nurture phase with them. They're not, they're not disinterested. They're not dead yet. So we want to continue to progress them through a nurture sequence. So again, very few prospects, and I'm being upfront, very few prospects will book a call directly after the 3 email drips. That's just how it is, just the numbers game. So you want to put them into maybe a newsletter nurture campaign. So you want to get in front of them repeatedly. And now we're going to talk about the administrative setup a little bit, and it's a quick transition, but you'll see how they're related. So with the circles, we're going to set up the circles to track where your prospect is in the funnel, and just more on the numbers. So 100% of the people that opt in are going to opt in. Makes sense. 40 to 60% will actually view the lead magnet. 20 to 30 will view the booking page. So just look at the booking page, not necessarily do anything, but they'll view it. And then 10 to 15% will book a call. And then unfortunately, 5 to 7% will show up. You might be thinking, holy smokes, those are terrible numbers. But that's why we use automation and technology to do all that legwork for us, because it can be a lot of work. You have to have 10 people, 100 people opt into your funnel to have, 4 or 5 people show up on the calls that they've booked. Again, it's a numbers game. We want to use the automation and technology to make this work. So how this is set up, if you have purchased my other courses, you know that I'm a huge naming convention guy. So all the circles have numbers. So that first circle is 15.0. And how they get into that circle is that they complete the kickoff form. That should say kickoff form, not kickoff firm. But they complete that kickoff form, and they're moved into that first circle. And when they're in that circle, they'll be delivered that lead magnet. And then within that lead magnet within that email, that drip sequence, there is going to be a trigger link. And that's what Mike mentioned. Trigger links are coming soon. These are email trigger links that allow you to perform an automation when a contact clicks that link. And so when somebody clicks that link to view that lead magnet, it's going to move them into the next circle. And then when they click that link to view the calendar page, they're going to progress. And so what you're doing is you're viewing them and you're understanding their intention. There's a lot of people that opt into these funnels and do absolutely nothing. You send them 3 emails, they don't even look at them. And then there's some that will click the lead magnet. There will be others that view the calendar page. And then there will be some that actually book a call. And so again, you want to make sure that this is all automated so you can get the volume that you need to get the ideal clients, on your calendar. And then what we have here is a follow-up sequence. So if someone books a call but they miss it, you can set up an auto template that you can trigger manually if they miss the call. That is a quick, 2 email sequence afterwards that says, hey, you missed the call. Did you want to rebook? Because that does happen sometimes. They may rebook, they may not, but it's a quick sequence to, excuse me, it's a quick sequence to get them back in the funnel and engaging with your content. So the funnel pages on the build side, all funnel pages are standalone landing pages. You don't need a marketing company or a web developer to build these landing pages, and you can change your pages quickly on the fly. You can test new designs dynamically, which is great. So I'm just going to hop over to what that looks like in here. I'm just going to hide the controls. And so you can see here that we have the opt-in page, the thank you page, the follow-up, and the calendar page that we just walked through. And at any point, you can just edit these. So we are in the opt-in landing page here, and you can see that I've embedded that kickoff form right here. And then just, you can put your firm logo down below. You can change this information around what your niche does and how you can help them. And then obviously change out the lead magnet picture. But all of the pages are just standalone landing pages. And so the automation to progress them to the next page is driven by that kickoff form. And so there is an automation in there. I'll actually show you right now. So when that form is complete, you are going to move them to the next page. So the opt-in lead magnet form there, we're just going to go to edit. We're going to go to link and embed. And you can see that the submission options are changed to redirect to a new URL, which is the next page in the sequence, the thank you page. And so that's how that works. There isn't anything related to the page itself, but the form. So again, all the funnel pages are standalone landing pages driven by the completion of the form for the first 2 pages, that opt-in and the thank you page, and then that follow-up page is just standalone with an embedded Vimeo video. And then that calendar page has that calendar block form embedded in that. So the next thing I want to look at is the prospect pipeline. So each prospect, like I mentioned, is on their own journey. You want to understand where they are at and adjust your response or actions. Keep in mind that all of the prospects that opt in have to give you their phone number. There is a lot of value in calling them. I know that pushes a lot of us out of our comfort zone, calling somebody up randomly, but to sell advisory, you need to speak to more people. And it's very valuable getting on the phone and speaking to a prospect that is dealing with issues in their business. They may not move forward, but just understanding, why they downloaded the lead magnet, what are the impacts on them, their business, as well as them personally by not paying themselves as much as they did last year. We know that inflation has gone up. We know that the cost of materials and labor have all gone up in the construction space. But there are issues in every single niche, and just speaking to more prospects will make you a better advisor and lead to landing more clients. So again, like I mentioned, you have their phone numbers. So how that works in SuiteDash is that we've created a prospect pipeline, which is a portal page, and each stage has an associated circle. So when a prospect enters that first circle, they're going to be in that opt-in stage. And then as they progress, they'll move through the stages. So how that looks on the back end here. So I'm in a portal page here. I'll just kind of start from the beginning. Go to the prospect pipeline. And this is the administrative view. And you can also add a view where you don't, you're not on the back end dealing with the setup of this page. You can create a custom menu item, which I did, and just open a cleaner version of this portal page where you can actually take action and your team can monitor prospects. So what we have here, we have in stage one, it's filtered for 15.01, which is the first circle in this funnel example, and then all the way to, booking an appointment. So if you have prospects that have progressed to stage three and they've viewed the calendar page, I would say give them a call. Give them a phone call and just say, hey, I noticed that you downloaded our lead magnet. Do you struggle with paying yourself more than last year? Like, what's going on in your business? And then if they've booked an appointment, they'll appear here. And then if they've missed the appointment, you can put them into stage five, which will run the follow-up sequence that I mentioned. And then stage six, if they've been lost, you can put them into this circle and maybe re-engage them later on or whatever it may be. But this is a pipeline or a sales pipeline, very similar to things that you find in Active Campaign or HubSpot or other CRMs. And the nice thing is that you can change this to however you want. So you can add more rows and have more stages and have different triggers or different actions that the client takes to understand what they're doing in your funnel. So if you have, multiple lead magnets or different things that demonstrate interest in your services, you can build additional steps in your pipeline. So just jumping back to the deck here. So like I mentioned, nurturing your leads is important. And to make selling significantly easier, you need to demonstrate expertise repeatedly. So advisory, again, there's a heavy emphasis on, are you right for them? Not, do I need advisory? They've already decided that they need some sort of help in either managing their business or growing it or dealing with cash flow issues. So you want to demonstrate that you're the right service provider for them. And so newsletters and other content are what will help you build that bridge to trust. So once they've opted into that lead magnet delivery campaign and that's complete, we're going to shift them to the long-term newsletter list. And keep in mind, we're unique in that prospects usually have an accountant or bookkeeper already and may not want to switch until year end. So by showing up in their inbox, every 2 weeks or every month, you remain top of mind when they are going to make that transition to a different accountant, bookkeeper, advisor, or whatever it may be. So newsletter types, some of you might be on my newsletter. I've released officially 104 weekly newsletters, and I have sent out a bunch of email campaigns. And what I've discovered, what I see is there are two types of newsletters. Now, these are just generalizations. There are variations in between. So there's the bespoke newsletter. So you create the content and you show your expertise. I think it's ideal for building thought leadership and demonstrating you're right for them. So you're taking some information and you're explaining it, applying examples, describing it in your own way. You are demonstrating your expertise. Then there's a curated newsletter. So you collect a list of assets, links, and tools, and you present. So you're just giving them a curated list of things to do. It's good for building a newsletter to generate income from the newsletter itself. But for me, you want to demonstrate your expertise, not that you can go out and you can find links and details about apps like that. That's good. But again, you're trying to convince them that you're right for them. So within SuiteDash, we can create templates, campaign templates. And so this will speed up how fast you can create newsletters. Now, keep in mind, I've created a lot of newsletters and there can be a lot of time around creating the content, putting it in the loading it up to send out the email. There's a lot of time around that. So SuiteDash makes that easy in terms of creating a template. So has the intro to the newsletter, the footer, that information at the bottom. You can create a template and make that significantly faster when trying to push a newsletter or other content to your audience. Keep in mind that consistency in providing value is key to landing high value clients. All right. So in case you don't want to spend 2 to 3 weeks kind of figuring this out, I've created a simple 7 video course, which includes everything in this webinar. So it's do it yourself. There are, examples around the circle structure, landing page templates. So everything you see are templatized. They're ready to drop into your SuiteDash. There's private sharing keys for everything that you've seen. There is email drip templates, and there is instruction around those trigger links. So as soon as Mike and SuiteDash release those trigger links, I'll provide an update to the course to make sure that you can get those in there and move your clients along through that pipeline. Now, if you sign up shortly after this webinar, you'll get $50 off of the course. And I'll just provide you the code up on the screen. So advisory 50, that will knock $50 off of the do-it-yourself course. There's also another done for you options. So if you don't want to handle this, if you just want my team to drop it into your SuiteDash with documentation and support, that option is there as well. Yes, it includes the pipeline. So the portal page, I just saw that pop up. So the portal page pipeline will be there as well. Obviously, the pipeline template won't copy over some of the connected circles. The circles are reset for each template. So you'll have to actually add your circles to your SuiteDash and then assign them to the various stages within your pipeline. Now, the course is fantastic in my opinion. A little bias here, but when you think about advisory, the mechanics and automation is absolutely necessary. But again, it's only half of the funnel. You need a clear niche that you solve problems for. A scalable advisory offer that you can delegate. So if you feel like you don't have a clear niche or you don't have a scalable advisory offer, the funnel probably won't work as well as it could, because again, it's part code and part media. You want to have the right message around the mechanics to make it work. So in addition to the SuiteDash course, I do offer something called the Advisory Code, which is a community of accountants and bookkeepers that want to add advisory to their service suite. So if you buy the funnel course, then you can join the advisory code for free for 2 weeks. And within there, you get weekly support to work on your firm. So there's a big emphasis of working on your firm, not in your firm. There's 25 hours of content around, building. Well, let's go to the next point here. So building, picking a niche, building a lead magnet, creating those email drips, creating that newsletter content, and really building that scalable advisory offer. You do get access to the Firm Nexus community, and it's open right now until the end of the month. So again, if you buy the course, you can get 2 weeks free, and then it's only $97 a week after that. Cancel at any time and stay for as long as you need to get your advisory offer created and producing the results that you want. So I'll send the link out to this page. Just let me pull it up here. So this is the page to purchase the advisory funnel course. So it goes through the various things that we just went through. So we'll talk about the funnel, the page funnel sequence, how to get that prospect pipeline, building those email campaigns and email drips, and goes into a little bit about, the trigger links and other newer features that we'll be using in the build. And then there's access to the scalable advisory offers that I mentioned before. You can just grab that for free. And then there's the two options to purchase. So it says, was this page created in SuiteDash? No, the page that we're looking at is built in WordPress because it houses Firm Nexus, my firm's content and everything. Yes, the course is self-paced. There's a 1 year lifetime access to the course. I have that on all my courses, but right now all the courses are available for lifetime. I only say 1 year, just because I don't know if I'm going to be around or doing this for another 10 years. Can you make it with a landing page in SuiteDash? Yeah, you could probably definitely make this landing page in SuiteDash.
Okay, Mark. I think are there other slides or other things to
Nope.
cover? Yep. Okay, good. Good. We're to questions. All right, everyone. That's awesome. Yeah. So what Mark has done here that has so much value is he's put in an enormous amount of thought on how this works in the real world in a specific niche like accounting. So if you are an accountant, if you are interested in this new wave of advisory services, which is quite popular, this is a roadmap for you. Or at least if not a roadmap, it's the beginning, and then someone who is there on the other side of that to guide you and help you and answer questions as you figure it out, or done for you option as well. So that's also quite important. So thank you, Mark. That's excellent. And for you guys out there who are not accountants, I think this is pretty easy to extrapolate out to another business. The tools that are being used are named, and the connections are just the same as you would build anywhere else with the automations, with the redirects. I think we're looking at 3 landing pages, some simple redirects triggered by a form submit, appointment, booking. So some pretty basic things in SuiteDash. And once you're in there and start looking around, I think all this really makes sense, guys. Um, Rachel, drag and drop landing page builder. I think we have that. Yep. So that's the block editor. We can certainly do that. There's also you can start with a template and make it easier for you. So good. Let me just address really quick the trigger links in email. So Mark had that as part of the system. That's something that's coming out fairly soon. If you've been around for a while, then you've heard this concept and you've probably heard this explanation, but I'll give it now as well. You may have seen email marketing tools who will say to you, hey, we can make this happen, or we can give you a statistic, or we can give you a thumbs up, or move someone to another list when they open the email that you sent initially, right? That is powered by, as there's only one technology that makes that possible, and that is, in almost every case, a 1 pixel by 1 pixel transparent image that is appended to that email in some way, encoded so that when that email is opened in a browser, the image is loaded, and in the loading of that image is a callback to the server of the software that is providing that, and that becomes that signal that they need to tell you, hey, that email is opened. And then if you attach some instructions to that, like an automation or something, then that will trigger the automation. So that sounds really cool in theory, and it does work sometimes. But the problem is that the general technology world, is going counter to that and has been for some time. So what I mean is, if that little pixel image doesn't load in the browser, some of you might have experience in Google, in Gmail, for example. You can set your Gmail so it doesn't load images automatically. And then also now, many services like the new email product from Basecamp, for example, and also now Apple Mail by default to protect your privacy. And now this is a benefit, they're saying. They will automatically block these tracking pixels as they deem them so that they will not be loaded no matter what you do. And even if you like it. So what that means to someone who's trying to email market with these tools is they're getting now failed signals and unreliable signals. And for example, statistics about number of percentage of opens. Well, if 30% of your recipients are blocking that tracking pixel, then you're getting very unreliable results. And that's just statistics. Now, think about what happens if you try to base your workflows and your critical automations on next step on that particular signal. That's just untenable because now you're trying to build your business around something that you cannot rely on and increasingly will never be able to rely on because of the way things are going as far as big companies tracking these pixels. I'm sorry, blocking these tracking pixels. So for some time, we have known this to be the case. And even though we've had many requests for that kind of functionality, that has not been built on purpose. Instead, we have moved towards and are now on the edge of releasing what we call trigger links, which essentially will let you put a set of buttons. Won't just call it two buttons, yes or no. Are you interested in my offer? Yes or no, or whatever you want to say. Um, and that yes button will be connected, and you will code that to trigger a specific automation or set of automations that you define. And the no button, same thing. Now, if it's as simple as if they click yes, move them to this circle. If they click no, move them to that circle. Or you guys understand how many automations are there. You can do all sorts of things. Now, the reason this is great is this is 100% reliable, right? When they click the yes button, they clicked the yes button. There's no doubt about that. And now you can start to build and foundation your entire workflows on this tool in a way that you can count on. Okay. So there's one caveat to that, and that is, and this is not something that anyone could solve, or not solve, but this is just logic, and I want to make sure you temper your expectations. So remember, as you're learning SuiteDash, that there's CRM targets. Those are people that are added to your CRM. We have an identification of these people. They have a CRM target ID number in our system, for example. They're in the database on that side. But there's also what we call subscribers, which are the very, very surface level. The only thing we know about these people is their email address, but they are not in your CRM. Okay. And therefore, they cannot be, we cannot run automations against them that we can't put them in a circle, is the best way to say it. They don't go in circles. We don't generate projects for them. They're not at that level. They're not even in the CRM level. They're the very first level that there can be. So what it means is if you have a marketing audience that contains, say, 500 of your CRM targets that are in circles and already in your CRM, and also 500 subscribers, and then you try to build this automation set up with the yes and no buttons and send it out, it's not going to work for the subscribers because they're not in that place. They're not, that's the wrong bucket. They're not in that bucket. So keep that in mind. If you're going to design these things and use this upcoming functionality, be sure that you are thinking about that dynamic and you already have moved the target or the quote target from the target audience from a subscriber. They're already into your CRM in some form or fashion. And now you are able to use this next functionality, which is the ability to send them emails that they can make decisions, kind of like choose your own adventure, right? Imagine if you set up a series of emails that sent out to them that said, first one said, do you like to drive do you drive a car or a truck? And they say, oh, I like to drive a truck. Okay, cool. Then you send another email. That's triggered by the truck answer. You send another email. Is your favorite brand Dodge, Chevy, or Ford? Then they're going to tell you, oh, okay, got it. Then that triggers another adventure, I'm sorry, automation that puts them in another bucket. Now you can ask them another question. So that's just a kind of silly example to help you understand how you can use these emails and these answers to start to segment people into different directions. All that is a very long explanation to say you will have that functionality in 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the outside, but that's where we're going. And that's what was Mark was using in this setup, and I think really in a really good way. Okay. Okay. And also, you could use that. I saw someone asking about a delivery of a lead magnet. It'd be a great lead magnet delivery, right? So if you get, or a secondary lead magnet delivery, once they get the email, you can explain, hey, here's one service that I offer. Would you be interested in that? If you're interested, click yes. Bam, you add them to another list, another audience, send out a lead magnet for that service. And each button that they click is a whole nother entry to another workflow, maybe in your world. But it's all easily done when this is on live very shortly.
Yeah,
Mark?
and Mike,
Mhm.
I love that. I guess the one thing that I would add is, you know, try not to have too much segmentation going on. Like keep it simple. I think I suffer from this. I'm like, ooh, I can do this, I can do that. Um, but keeping it simple makes it easier to manage and easier to scale. Obviously, a little segmentation is powerful because then you can send more personalized content or information. But yeah, we shouldn't be segmenting it so significantly that there's only a handful of prospects in an audience. But yeah, I love how this direction that it's going.
Yeah. That's good advice from down boots on the ground there. So exactly that. Uh and so I will stick around if I think this is good for the presentation. Mark, your link is in the chat, I believe.
Somewhere I can drop it in again.
Yeah, just go ahead and drop it in again. Make sure that they know right where it is. So, guys, if you want to go take advantage of the offers from Mark, I encourage you to do that. He has a long history with us and a long history of providing excellent service to people who are doing business with him. And that's why I have no hesitation at all to have him back over and over again. So, this is a situation that I can definitely be confident in. So, you can do that. I will stick around for 10 or 15 minutes. I'm happy to do it and just talk with you guys. You can ask whatever questions you want. The ask me anything light is turned on and see where we go. Mark, you're welcome to hang around, but I'll keep this meeting link open for a bit and I'll do everything I can to answer all the questions. Okay, let me start with Janessa. Yes, the recording will be available on our YouTube channel within 24 hours, is typically how we play this game. All right. Limit on emails, Johnny. Johnny, you'll have to forgive me for a 2-minute explanation, and I'll do my best. There's a difference between transactional emails and marketing emails. Transactionals are the things that are sent from the platform to let people know, hey, you have an invoice. Hey, you have a project. Hey, you completed a task. Those things we take care of. Those are all on our side. If you want to send marketing emails to 150,000 people today, that's on your side, right? Because that's an expensive thing. And that's the reason that something like SendGrid or Mailgun or all these big, I call them big pipe senders, they exist for that purpose. So what we do is make it very easy for you to connect the big pipe sender of your choice, which allows you to go and shop the best deal you can find for big pipe senders and connect to that. We provide the tool that throws those 150,000 emails down the pipe, but you have to bring the big pipe. That might be my first use of that analogy. I think it works. But we do have also a service that you can pay for us, and it's as cheap as we could possibly make it to allow you to send emails in that way. Those are called marketing emails in our world. Okay, I think that helps. Marius, zero integration. So we're not far, Marius, and I don't know when that would happen. I've answered this recently. We've always been waiting and thinking about zero integration until recently I had a conversation with a CEO of another tech company and their team. We were in a call and they had were just finishing with a zero integration that took them a year, and then they told us it took 18 months to get approved. And these were go-getters. These were real heavy hitters as far as ambitious, enthusiastic, smart, and hardworking. And that kind of that I did not like that. I did not like hearing that. So we that doesn't mean we won't do it. It just means that I have to decide when we're ready to tackle something that big in the order of priorities, given the spectrum of priorities that we have across the board. So I think that's my best answer. Mhm. Landing page. I think we answered that one. Okay, you have courses for marketing agencies regarding setup and whatnot. We don't have specific courses for marketing agencies, April. I really think that that's not much different than a typical business as long as you expand out and just think about your business. And the best thing you can do and the best advice I can give anyone, and I know Miss Kathy, Coach Kathy would like to hear this one, write it down. Write down exactly what your workflow is and start with the one you have now, and then start to dream a little bit and say, wouldn't it be cool if I could do this and do that? But once you get it written down and then you start to analyze how SuiteDash can make that happen, that really shortcuts your process and also gets you focused on what exactly you're trying to accomplish. Will the new trigger links be able to automate moving prospects through the pipeline instead of doing it manually? Yes, Sarah. Yes, they will. Yes, it will. How close? It will be able to do everything that automations do now, but we are also at the same time, in parallel, we're very close to releasing another iteration, another big update to the deals and deal pipelines functionality that I think you will be really pleasantly surprised with, and or not surprised, but you'll find it nice. All right, how close are we to getting push notifications on mobile? Closer than ever, Anita. That's the best I could say. It's also it's a pretty big topic of conversation here. I would say, in that you can look for that in the next year. I mean, in the coming quarters of 2025. It's one of those things that um, is one of the big pieces that's on the table that we're looking to put in place. So it's now a matter of, again, prioritization and looking for the right place in our pipeline. Does Mark offer setup for tax accounts without the tax advisory component? I would just ask Mark, contact Mark. I believe the answer is yes, but I would just talk to him about that. Transaction email. We are able to edit the transaction emails to go out in the client's longer. Yes, every single, to my knowledge, I think there may be some exceptions in some small places, but we try to make every single transactional email has a template that you can edit and customize to your own needs. Add extras, yes. In all our automations, in forms, there's a place that you can create extra emails that get sent out based on whatever you need. So you can build your own custom emails that go out after each completion event or automation opportunity, we call it. Is there any way for resellers, I like this question already somehow, to hide the magic or hide any references to circles generators so they can sell platform administration on top of portal access? Okay, at the moment, I would have to pass over with, hey, ignore those menus and references, even the automations. Yeah, I understand. Hmm, interesting. Victoria, that's interesting. Hmm. Okay, that might be one of the first times I've heard that request, but I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. I like the direction. We're always about empowering people to use SuiteDash as a tool that enhances your business, gives you more SKUs, for lack of a better word, more products that you can build and use SuiteDash as the core of that. So that is interesting. I think what the direction would be to give them admin access and then somehow filter out, um, provide you with a method to filter out automations and things like that. Interesting. Okay. I'll think more about that. I'm putting that in my notes right now. Okay. All right, Johnny was responding. I think that's clear now, Johnny. Payroll, I don't know, Jasmine. That's another down the road thing. Um, just not where we are at the moment. We always started off as client side first, CRM target side first. We've now circled around and brought many of those same functionalities and automations to the staff side, not completely, but you can really onboard staff and do a lot of staff related and HR related functionalities. We're not a full HR platform, that's for sure. We're not a payroll platform. So there are things that, we're not quite there yet, but one day we will be because our goal is to eventually encompass as much and as many functionalities as makes sense for each small business. But the fact that we are adaptable to any small business does widen the aperture quite a bit. So there's a lot of challenge there. VBOUT as mail, do you mean as a sending pipe? I think you might be referring to. Not super familiar with VBOUT. Will there be a projects block or something we can use in dashboard? Yes. Yes, systems queens. That's exactly what it's called, a projects block. And the idea is yes, exactly what you just described. Thank you very much for bringing that up. That is something that's even in the pipeline now and being looked at for development. Okay. Is there any plans to integrate AI and maybe have more endpoints available for the API? Regis, we are planning to integrate AI in the sense of content creation. To my mind, yes, there's a lot of great ways to use AI, but in an everyday business, content creation and generation is the most game-changing thing there is. In the old days, to even like write a web page or even some long email was somewhat difficult, and just getting that content was so painful. It had to come out of your head. You don't want to sound like an idiot, so you spend half the day editing it, and going over it and going over it and going over it. So from the content creation standpoint, meaning, okay, let's get this portal page built out. Let's put a paragraph here that gives me this look and feel. Here's the bullet points. Just give me the stuff. I don't want to think about it too much. Yes. More endpoints for the API. Project update endpoints are just a week or two away. So yes, but Regis, never completely. Okay, and it's an impossible challenge to make SuiteDash available in an API way so that you can front end it from anywhere. It's always going to be selective. And then what we also encourage you to think about, and this was what makes it capable of, you can use the API to trigger almost any action in the app. And here's how you do it. You're going to use like a CRM target custom field, or that's probably the best one, CRM target. And you're going to use them as flags, Regis, and try to follow what I'm saying here. So when you use something as a flag, you essentially set it as 1 and 0. Say you wanted to create a project. So you would have a project type that you want to create. A generator is create. So you create the generator and the template inside SuiteDash, just like you had to do all day, every time. And then in an auto template, you're going to say, when, if this custom field that I made exactly for this purpose, which is a flag, equals 1, then I want you to trigger this auto template, which is then configured to generate the project based on this project generator that I chose. Okay. So now you have a condition when this custom field that you created for that purpose equals one, then the system is going to look at the target, which comes in, which is associated with the CRM target custom field, and generate the project. So then in the API, all you have to do is pass the target, use the target custom fields, make the calls that are there, and change that custom field value to one. Then you're done. Then on our side, inside our platform, we read that one and say, okay, I know what he wants to do. And then we use our internal built-in tools that we don't have to replicate in a very complex API. And we just generate the project as you describe, as you set up inside SuiteDash. So in that way, you can really trigger almost any functionality in SuiteDash that's available in the automation suite by using a custom field that's specific for that purpose, an auto template that's built to perform the actions, and a dynamic logic engine which is built to scan for the condition and then trigger the auto template. All right, I think that makes sense. Does the LMS allow us to add quizzes? Sister Soldier, not yet, but it's coming. Okay, so this is something that, yeah, this is maybe out there in the spectrum of I wish I had, I wish it did world. Quizzes has now become the number one, and the number one thing that hasn't been delivered. And we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Other things have been more important in our mind, maybe not in yours, but in our mind or in my mind, maybe is more importantly. Uh, but those days are over because quizzes are on deck, if not in the batter's box. All right. So that means they're gonna get made, and it's gonna happen. What is zero integration? Yeah, the answer is it's another type of. It's a much more. I'm not 100% super familiar in from it with a. I've used it and used the other and used the other, but it's a very popular, so therefore it must be very good accounting package and also financial package in a lot of different ways out of Australia, if what I understand. Okay, super excited to say you're saying the deal functionality is getting an upgrade. How close are we to that? It's a this year thing. hmm It's a I wouldn't call it this week thing, but it's a very short term, I'll say, David. Okay. Do you have any examples of cleaning companies that successfully use SuiteDash? Business deals can be processed by some. I don't know, Wes. I mean, that's a little bit. I hear you. I kind of get the big currents of what you're asking, but I don't have enough information to really answer that. Um, sorry. I just don't. Yeah, so are you going back to AppSumo? I don't have an answer for that. I really don't know. Will the reporting feature be coming soon? Yes, it will, Systems Queens also. But let me caveat this. It's going to be a process. Okay. It's going to be on day one. It won't be like, oh, wow, I can report anything. I can run a report on anything, anywhere in the entire platform. That definitely won't happen. What will happen is there will be a framework and a foundation for um, a reporting tool. I'll put it that way. And then the reports will follow after pretty smoothly. It's just a matter of the reports will be delivered to you by the reporting tool. The tool itself is 80% of the work. The tools then come one at a time as we are able to configure them and wire them up into the data structure. I hope that makes sense. Can resellers buy power-ups? Yes, they can. And they buy them at a discount and resell them at a markup. That's the plan. And that's how it's set up. Do you have training on checkout pages? We have documentation. I don't know that we have a quote training on checkout pages, but it's pretty self-explanatory in the sense it's checkout form hosted on you can host it on a dashboard, on a portal page, on a landing page. Works very similar also to the proposal options that you can make in a proposal that will allow your end users, your targets, to select which services they would like and automatically calculate the resulting totals and then move them through your workflow with that total follows them into the invoicing and billing, contracting, etc. Is it planned to allow to modify CRM columns at some point? I think you mean in the table. In the it would be really useful to have a custom. That's something, yes, we have heard quite a and understand is useful, Fernando. So thanks for mentioning that. If we when we do address that, one of the first places will be in CRM. Probably soon after that will be something like projects. So we'll start in the places where it makes sense and really give you the most uh, utilitarian version and most utilitarian rollout of that as we can. Okay. Let me share my screen if I can. Let me see if I can pull this off really quick so that we're not just let's see. Okay. You guys see the sales funnels and automations, I think. Okay, and then let me just try the next level of this here. Oh, do you see the chat? Man, I ought to be a CEO of a software company or something. All right, let's see here. All right, let me come back. Let's see. Clean companies gotcha. Tags. Okay, here we are, I think. I'd love to be able to tag items like forms, email campaigns, so when I'm working or something, I can see everything related to it, like small ecosystems. That's a cool idea, Nita. Yeah, I like that. I think I know what you mean. Like, so if you let's just use colors, for example. If you just had like a workflow that used everything that was turquoise color, for example, but you mean like a tag, and you would know how they're related. Yeah, that's real cool. And also kind of goes into this other idea, well, one of the sort of cherry on top features that's coming in 2025, which we call journeys. And in journeys, you would actually have a box, essentially, a case where you would open the case up, and all the elements that you have in that, as you just said, forms, email campaigns, all of it would be laid out and wired up in an order so that you have a fully related workflow that is connected and you can follow those connections. And then those will be, you will be able to save that entire workflow into what we call a journey template, which you can then exchange with other people in the template marketplace. So imagine that you came up with a perfect workflow, completely canned, completely working from top to bottom, with for some niche that you are very familiar with. And then you package that up and made it available in the template marketplace so that someone else could be up and running with that entire perfect workflow in just a matter of minutes, as opposed to the many, many hours it took you to build it. What might that be worth? Well, it depends, but I think it could be worth quite a bit of money, to be honest. People value their time. Would a would $1,000 be too much? I don't know. Is it going to save me 2 weeks of work? Then maybe I'm going to consider it. All right. So that is how SuiteDash goes from a generic platform like your phone, for example, your phone OS, to a niche specific platform for any niche in the world, because niche providers will build journey templates, sell them on a marketplace, much like your apps are sold on your phone, and will take the tools that are on your phone and put them together in a way that they perfectly serve a very niche purpose. Um, so repurposed in a niche way. Okay. AI form creation. I want to say yes, Marie, because you're Marie, but I don't think I could. There's so many elements there. I mean, I think down the road, of course, that is the way. Down the road, we want to say, okay, in plain language, here's our AI target, let's say. In plain language, just normal language, just tell me what you're trying to build here, right? And so the prompt will become the workflow, or the prompt will become the journey. And we'll be able to take your workflow, what you described to us, and have AI build it and most closely match it to the best examples of our tools and line them up, connect them, maybe even fill them with content, and then allow you to go in and sort of edit, modify, refine. But that's the sort of the ultimate use case, I think, for something like this. Okay, let's see. We currently use Pabbly to import and comment HubSpot, and there are a lot of actually public triggered HubSpot. Sorry. We are eager to, oh, here, yeah, here. So there. We're eager to ditch HubSpot in favor of SuiteDash, but we'll need a large menu of SD actions Pabbly could trigger. Is there any work being done to expand the list of SD actions? Well, David, let's go back to that same go back and listen to what I've said about the flags, okay? So does it match up one to one with what you want to do? No, but you can accomplish it using that concept. I'm not saying you can accomplish it. I'm saying you have many, many more options if you look at it from the standpoint of setting up a series of flags or switches that, when configured in a certain way, triggers SuiteDash to do the thing that you're after, but it just does it internally based on recognizing the switches are in that particular configuration. If you need help, if you want to explore this concept with someone and bounce ideas off them, I would recommend Isaac Asher, who is one of our agency partners. Isaac built an incredible uh, tech stack using the same concept. He 100% gets it, and it might be worth an hour of his time to you to just bounce your ideas off and see it can work for you. Okay. All right. Let's see. And the advantage is this can work tomorrow, not anytime in the future. It can work like now. All right. Um, okay, Rachel. Rachel says she's not happy that the it's not aesthetically pleasing. She wants to build a drag and drop comment on Squarespace. I get it. Okay. No, I understand what you mean, Rachel. I totally get it. And yeah, I think we'd like that too. We'd like to have the same kind of uh, uh, and eventually we will, Rachel. We're moving that direction. But as of now, it's most important thing. So these guys, those are website builders. Their bread and butter is these editors. That's like the most important thing in their whole business. We're not a website builder. We are a systems operating system builder, is the best way I could say it. So it's not the most important thing in our world. And for people who are trying to build complex operating systems around their business, I understand it would be easier, but you wouldn't also have everything that we have across this entire platform and the best website builder you've ever seen. Those just things don't exist in the same room as of now in our world. So I totally get what you mean. But we're moving in that direction. And guess what? They're going to move in our direction. That's you hear me say it now, and then later in the future, come back and say, "Man, Mike was right." Wix, Squarespace, all these guys, they're going to start building business tools like we have, automations and connected toolkits like we have. They're coming from the website builder side towards what we are, our core, and we are adding website building on top of our core. We're going to, and we'll all meet in the middle one day, where it's a you'll be choosing your platform, and that one platform will control your website, will control your client portal. It'll be all your business tools. It'll be all your client portal tools. It'll be all your interface tools, your clients, your vendors. Everything will be in one platform, one ecosystem that you will learn and you rely on. It will share data. It will automate every part will automate another part. It'll be a beautiful thing, and that is the future, and that's what we've been working towards ever since the founding of SuiteDash. But we're coming from the sort of nuts and bolts business tools side, and in the end, yeah, they're coming from the pretty web page, pretty builders, pretty everything side. So we're just not the same animal at this point, and that's kind of my best explanation. For reseller, does each client need to have a separate power up, or can power ups from main reseller account be done? Each client have their own separate one. Yep. So when you resell to someone, Geo, they are your customer essentially. Each one of them is a potential profit for you, profit center for you. But yes, if you wanted to have like the plus power bundle power up for 10 of them, you're going to need 10 different discounted, wholesale is a good way to say it, priced power ups. And then for each one of them, you will charge them your retail price for that power up 10 times, and your profit will be what's left over, what's between. Okay, I have a few more minutes here. I'm going to try to, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Doing my best here. Are you considering an option for client to refer businesses to NSD? I get a lot of clients to refer friends. So that's a referral program. Yes, we are, Marius. I don't have any um, timeline or thought process. That's not something that I can comment on. It's not in a mature enough place to say. So it's a pretty good ways off in that sense. At least 6 months, if not further. Can definitely further, but I don't know yet. So can partner agencies offer lifetime power ups year round? Rachel, I think that's a question that we answered with you even. But that's going to be a case by case. If it helps you out, if you're a partner agency, please email help at SuiteDash and reference so we can have that conversation. But it's not something that I would rule out completely. Any timing on when the ability to add quantity, that's soon, Casa or Kessa, sorry. That's on our roadmap right now and in the pipeline. We'll have additional options in the checkout forms will be something that will be a reality in just a matter of, say, 3 to 4 weeks. I'm talking about remember the video that we made together on the sneak peek, which is about bumps and subscription items and quantities and donation quantities and all that. Okay. Anita says she would effing love that. Whatever that was, I'm happy that you are there. Oh, journeys. Okay, good. Got it. Okay, good. Journeys, excitement for journeys. Good, good, good. What's the best way to answer a question such as what's the difference between what you're offering and GHL? Well, we're just cooler, Johnny. That's just all there is to it. I mean, that's it. So, uh, GHL again, I do not spend a lot of time looking at these other products. I just think it would contaminate in some ways the thinking that we try to be original and we try to solve problems in a way that maybe hasn't been done yet. Uh, for better or for worse, you can say that's good or bad, but you can burn a lot of time looking at other people and trying to be that or be like that. But what I understand about GHL is it's very it's pretty narrowly focused on something like a marketing agency or a digital agency. And the functionality, I think, is, I had nothing bad to say about it. I just think it's a little different in that way. I also believe SuiteDash is infinitely more customizable and uh, powerful in the way that it's built. I don't know that to be the case, but again, I'm not the most informed person to say, but that's my best answer. I so wish this Q&A was part of the recording. There's some good stuff being, well, we try to leave it in, Anita, as long as there's nothing personal gets revealed or, I can't always control this chat. So sometimes it goes, it could go places I would end up like, oh, okay, we need to blur that or whatever. But anyway, okay, got it. Normally leaves the Q&A. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I heard it here first. Good. For what it's worth, I'm willing to pay for separate subscription fee to upgrade the website editing functionality. Right? Good. Good. Okay, David. Heard. Heard. All right. So we have landing pages. That is essentially a web page. And yes, we are definitely moving towards exactly the ability for you to choose to map an A record of a domain name to a specific landing page, which will then become your quote homepage. And you will be able to group landing pages together in a group that will be able to share a common quote theme, which is header, footer, CSS, JavaScript, all that. So we are definitely making progress, and we have the entire pathway already figured and understood how you would easily be able to create a website using SuiteDash, create menus, all of that. So it's all the technical side is done, and now it's. But what's cool about it is, okay, it's not just a website. That's easy. That's so easy to create a collection of HTML pages, and then yes, you could take it to many many levels, sliders, et cetera, et cetera. All the blocks. I mean, look at Elementor and I guess Breezy and some of the other ones that have gone really far down this road, and that's so cool, very cool. But for me, the way I look at a website is I want an employee. I don't need a super pretty brochure sitting out there. That's one thing that can does have its place. But what I want is something that goes to work for me every day, that gets work done and makes me more efficient. So what's great about SuiteDash becoming in moving into the website side is all of the functionality, all of the automation capability, all of the abilities to show hide even specific blocks on a website, rows on a website by making them private. All the trigger logic that's in place with button blocks you could use. All of these things that you have already available will be usable on your website from day one. So when you get your website built, it'll already be feeding directly into your CRM, triggering all the things that you need. So you can really go crazy designing how your website becomes a part of your organization in a way that is super productive. And yes, Marie knows Wix is doing it already. But you know what Wix is doing, Marie, is they're charging you another small fortune for every little bit that gets added. I've had many people come from these other places to say, well, yeah, you can do it. But A, it's real clunky. It's bolt on. It feels really clunky. It doesn't feel normal. And it's starting to cost me a fortune. So, with Sweet Dash, it's not like that. Or we do our very best to prevent that from happening. Okay, let me scroll back. We're talking about HubSpot here. This is HubSpot's a CRM pipeline type of thing. Okay, nothing bad to say. Sweet Dash is cooler. Got it. Think might been using Sweet Dash since 2020, and without it, we would have closed our business during lockdown and actually doubled our turnover. That's nice, Marius. Thanks for saying that. That's really nice, and I'm very happy to hear it. I initially purchased Sweet Dash to run my business on the front end for onboarding and contract execution. Looks like sweet. Oh yeah, we can go a lot further than that, Johnny. And one day, yeah, hopefully everything as we just discussed. Rough ETA on the full website functionality. Well, full is a tricky word. Basic website functionality, I would say Q1 or 2 of next year, Julia. It's another one of those big blocks that's on the table that's waiting for a team to grab and go. But again, it's understood, discussed, and we have the technology, and we have one of the tougher pieces was the uh, to do the server side work around uh, assigning a top level domain to a landing page and doing that and automating that in a way. So yeah, there's a lot going on there, and we just have to make sure it's everything we build, we have to build it just super bulletproof. Even though, maybe 10,000 people are using it today, and somehow we might be able to manage a disaster or a misstep. If we don't build everything bulletproof for 100,000 people, then we'll actually, because of how big the platform is, we could be in a very rough situation at some point trying to go back and fix things that weren't built for the 100,000 number or the million number. Uh, those are good ideas, David. And eventually, yes, we'll move to those levels. And eventually, on um, all of our toolkits, our goal is to be top an A player. Will we always be, on the level of someone who only does that all the time? Um, you know, eventually it'll be in an acceptable range for some 95% of people, right? And there'll be 5% who say, I can't live without this one thing, right? Okay, I understand. And I get it. You're not offending me, but this is just business, right? So I'm going after, if I can get 95%, I'm pretty happy. The rest is diminishing returns. So, maybe we can get all the way to the places where you have everything that you want, or maybe there will be one or two things where you just say, I just can't do it until I get this or that. But as we expand the circle of functionality in every one of the toolkits, imagine a circle that's expanding outwards. Every inch or two that we expand, we grab another percentage or two of people who say, okay, hey, that's everything I need. I'm good. Now I can use SuiteDash for really everything, and I'm happy here. Then there's a couple more people. There's people outside the circle that say, not yet. I'm not feeling it yet. Then we keep working. We keep working. 3 months later, our circle goes out a little further, and we grab those people. And as we continue to expand our circle and get bigger and more refined and add more functionality and solve more problems, we bring in more and more and more of the general public who's just looking to stop paying 10 subscriptions, get everything under one roof, start to feel like they have some control, systematize their business in one place where everything's talking to each other and they don't have to understand zaps and pablys and APIs and all these things that they're like, well, I don't even know what you're saying, right? Most business owners are interested in their business. They understand their business. They're in the niche that they're in. They don't have time to be a an IT person, a tech stack person, and put all this stuff together. As cool as all this stuff is, it's just not their game. Some people are into it. Some people are not. And we know that all businesses going forward will have to use technology just to compete. So our goal is to try to make it as reachable and accessible and achievable as possible for the widest number of businesses all around the world and continue to go in that mission. And that's how we will, become a player in this game long term and hopefully for hundreds of thousands and millions of businesses. So, okay. Bernadette says exactly what sold us on Sweet Dash, everything in one place. That's the idea. Now it's a big project. It's a big, ambitious goal. A big, what is a BHAG? I read in a book one day. Big, hairy, I think, yeah, the other word you can fill in the blank. Big, hairy goal. Audacious. That's it. Big, hairy, audacious goal. Right. So yeah, it's definitely that. And also remember, guys, that that I'm just riffing now as somebody who you guys kind of get it. So remember this dynamic, right? Who else is out there building something like Sweet Dash? And the answer is no one. And I'll tell you why. Because no VC in their right mind would ever look at this is some idea where the guy goes, okay, so what we want to do is like build 15 different complete toolkits in one platform, and then they like automate it all together. And then, he says the whole vision. And so then the VC, think about Shark Tank, they say, okay, so how long is this going to take? Well, I mean, minimum 6 years, maybe 10 years. Okay. And the VC instantly says, no, no way, right? I'm never going to get paid back. How much is this going to cost? 6 years at what? How much? So, um, you know, maybe yes, maybe there's other people out there doing it. I'm not saying they're not, but it's not going to be a very common thing because the return on investment will be so long and unattainable by a VC funded company that the only way to get to where we are is the way we did it, which is bootstrapped, which is, we made a start that was enough to make the next day work and the next week work and the next month work and the next year work. And we just kept at it and we're smart, smart enough to not go out, smart enough to keep everything together and just kept grinding, kept building. And now we're here in a place where, wow, it looks like we have our own destiny, God willing, and everything doesn't change and go crazy. But you guys are a part of that. You're the cause of that. You get the credit for that. So um, the vision is awesome, and I think in the future, I look forward to being there with you. Yeah. Thank you, Victoria. I hear you. Well, I don't know about spy. That's the other thing. Yeah, listen, guys. I mean, it's not. We are. I wouldn't say we're a huge company. We're not a huge company. We're just. We're still big enough, small enough where everybody knows everybody's name. We all know each other. We are all friends and get along and know, kids' names and all these things. Until you get over 40 or 50, you can still stay that way, which is nice. And that's really my goal is to keep it that way. We don't have to, Reseller Pro is coming out soon. Okay. I don't know if you guys know about that, but Reseller Pro is our answer to can we go all over the world and provide SuiteDash to all these people without having office in every country and, 16 offices around. We don't need all that. SuiteDash Reseller Pro will do that for us. But so we can keep our company small and focused and agile and continue to make what we want to make and make it how you want it to be without losing touch from you guys, which are the small businesses, which is who we serve. So, yeah. Okay, Leslie, I hear you. And I'm definitely not ruling it out. Okay, everyone, I thank you all very much for encouragement and for support and for understanding the vision. It's pretty cool because it's not something I can talk to anyone in my daily life about unless they're in this channel here. Imagine trying to like talk to somebody like one of my parents of my kids' friends or something. Well, what do you do? Well, yeah, they're asleep, or it's just not working. They just don't get it, right? It's just way too much to take in and understand. But yeah. David, yes, yes, we'll be having a solution for that in it's part of Reseller Pro, so we needed to address that uh, as part of Reseller Pro. David asking about some additional super admin capabilities, so that is coming. You'll have definitely a much better option for that soon. We call it an admin manager. Okay, so admin managers are admins who have higher capabilities than other admins. But essentially, there still will be only one super admin, but the admin manager will be able to do all the things the super admin can do, except for the subscription, which is the one thing that we will probably always make sure the super admin is the only one that can do. Okay, well, thanks again, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for listening to me ramble and talk. I hope it was somewhat entertaining and informative. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. You guys are awesome. Thanks. 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 Bye.